I'm Mrs. Baxter. I teach geometry and algebra 1. This is my second year to be here at First Baptist, and I love it here. The psalm that I want to talk to you about this morning is Psalm 73, specifically verse 26. It says, "My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." In the beginning of the psalm, the author talks about how they were envious of the arrogant because of their prosperity. And I can really relate to that. All throughout high school and college, I really wanted to be known as cool and funny, and sometimes I even wanted to be known as a really great Christian. Which sounds good, but in reality, I just wanted people to think about me, and it came down to pridefulness and selfishness. It's something that I still struggle with sometimes today. The beginning of verse 26 says, "My flesh and my heart may fail," and that's what I feel like happens a lot in my life. I feel like I can't stop my selfishness. I can't stop my pride and my sin. But the second part of the verse says, "But God," which is so good. "But God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." And that's the good news. We will never be perfect in this life. We will always struggle with some sort of selfishness or pride or some other sin, and that's really hard for me to cope with. But God's strength, who is perfect, who can fight these sins, God can work through us to sanctify us, which means to look closer like Jesus than the world, to look more like Jesus than we do look like the world. It may seem impossible to get rid of some of your sins. I know that I have felt like that throughout my whole life, that I can't get rid of some of these sins, some of this selfishness that I have. But according to Luke 1:37, nothing is impossible with God. So trust in Jesus, not only for salvation, but to help you fight these sins and battles that seem impossible. Like the psalm says, make him your portion, because he is enough. When we aren't enough to fight some of this selfishness that I know I have felt my entire life, God's strength is enough. He can help to fight these sins and this selfishness.